What is going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number 25. Nick, we've done 25
Wow,
of these,
quarter of a
bro.
century. Here we are.
That is crazy.
Yeah,
So
like
obviously, I'm your main host, Coach YoYo. We have our co-host, Coach Nick, as well.
I'm just going to live here at this point. I'm here all the time.
And then our special guest, obviously, Kim.
The one
AKA
and only.
The
one and only Kim Burley. We actually have two Kims in our program.
Mm-hmm.
But welcome.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thanks for coming.
You seem nervous. Are you okay?
Yeah, I mean, I think
You
finally
good?
being here is like you see it online, but actually being in the setting, it's like surreal.
Yeah. Well, you've been with me for what, over a year?
Yeah, it's gonna
right?
be a year in October.
Yeah, it's been a year for October. Yeah, we started our podcast last year in May or June.
June.
Yeah,
something
May,
like that.
May. I think May was the first time, but we've done so many podcasts now, and 25 is a lot for us. I feel like, because I know I've had people like my friend Brad have done 600 plus, but he does like 2 episodes a week or something like that. But it's like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Sometimes it's like an hour. But for us, we want to make sure we get a lot of your journey on the podcast and talk about why you first started, what made you become who you are today before you even started with me, and then what made you jump to start with Unfinished Lifestyle and things like that. So, start with that. Introduce yourself, and so we know what's going on.
So you guys know who I am.
Because I don't think I've ever asked you about anything about your life before I met you.
Yeah, no. So I'm a single mom. I think that's kind of where I know I'm like my own individual, but I think that's kind of like what highlights who I am. It's like me being a mom. And yeah, she's kind of like my light of every day, keeps me going. I mean, you guys know, you guys are dads, but, yeah. Wait, what was the question again? I'm so sorry.
Who are you? What were you
Who
like
am I?
before starting?
Were you on the skinnier side or more overweight?
I
growing
was, and it's crazy because I feel like I was always pretty active. I played basketball middle school and high school. So I was generally pretty fit, but I think with life happening, it just kind of like it just comes at you, and you just kind of started losing yourself. I was in a very like toxic, abusive relationship with my daughter's dad. So I think being in that relationship and like leaving that was where I kind of like let myself go.
Okay.
I didn't know how to like get back to the Kim that was in high school, like very social, like confident, so I didn't know how to get back to that Kim. And by then it was just kind of a little bit too late to like get fit again or lose weight because I was just already mentally struggling.
Yeah. How old were you when you have your daughter?
So I had her when I was 19.
Wow.
So it was my freshman year of college. And I think by then...
Was that a shock for you or was it...
Yeah, because it was definitely like unplanned. Even though we were like in a relationship, it was just like unplanned, So, and I was still in like full time. I gave birth. And then I remember shortly after giving birth, like I was doing homework again because I was like, there's like no time, like I can't take a break, So... and then dealing with him was like tough as well because I wasn't working, and so I was like becoming so dependent on him, even though it was like so unhealthy, and I didn't know how to ask for help. So until like my sister one day was like, she overheard like I didn't know she was overhearing, and she still doesn't know, like if it wasn't for her stepping in that moment, I feel like I would probably still be in that situation.
Wow.
Yeah, because she
older sister or younger sister?
Yeah, older sister.
Of course. It's got to be the oldest.
She stepped in, and she basically like just kicked him out and like called the cops, and it was like what I needed. Like I needed somebody to kind of like step in for me because I didn't know. I was so ashamed of like speaking up to my family because growing up Hispanic, you grow up like my parents like instilled in us like be outspoken, like stand up for yourself, But in that relationship, I was so ashamed of myself that I didn't know how to get out,
Yeah.
But that's how it is for a lot of people stuck in those situations with a narcissistic, partner or abusive partner. It's I mean, it sounds obvious. Just reach out for help or just leave them.
Yeah.
But once you're in that, it's
because I would always think
it's
that,
difficult.
like, when people be like, I'm in an abusive relationship, I'm like, why can't you just leave? Like,
just say,
just
okay,
walk
bye.
out.
Yeah.
But it's not.
But especially
that
where
easy.
you felt you were dependent on him,
Oh, yeah.
financially as well because you weren't working.
Yeah.
It's like, well, if you did leave, then what?
Shout out to your sister though. That's awesome that she
Yeah.
did that for you.
Well, that's what
Yeah.
family's there for. That's what they should do.
That's what they
Yeah.
should do. But
Yeah.
most people don't have that support system. The
Nope.
fact that your sister did that,
Mm-hmm.
so now your daughter was born, he got kicked out. That is when your single mom life kind of happens, basically. Because you told me he's not in the picture anymore.
Yeah, no, he's not. I feel like I was a single mom even when I was pregnant. Even
Yeah.
though we were together, we weren't. I felt I was already a single mom.
He
So
wasn't
it's
doing anything to help.
No, and it was like a lot of like having to ask like simple things like
Yeah.
it being there emotionally, or like, oh, we need to prepare for this, or like building the crib.
Which is so crazy.
I remember I remember this. I was having contractions and building the crib.
Oh my
Because
No.
gosh.
Nope.
I
Nope.
remember that. And I remember because she came a week early and I was having contractions when I didn't know. I thought the Braxton contractions, but they were actually real contractions. And when I got to the hospital, I was already dilated.
Whoa. You almost
And-
had the baby.
Yeah, and I was
Timed
building
the
that
elevator.
perfectly.
Yeah, and I was
Yeah.
building the
Holy
crib
hell.
at it
Well-
being dilated, and I didn't even know that.
Wow.
I wouldn't even let my wife do the laundry
Yeah.
when she was pregnant. I'm like, just sit
Yeah.
down. You're growing a human being.
Yeah.
Let me take care of it.
That's crazy to me because as a dad now,
Yeah.
like we could not think of leaving
No.
my family without, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
thought of leaving for me, it gets me emotional because it's like, why would I leave that?
No.
That is awesome.
And I know because even when you tell me like, oh, like even when I see your posts like with going out with your family and
Yeah.
stuff, I'm like, oh, or not just you, but when I see like my guy friends going out with like
Yeah.
family outings and stuff, I'm like, oh, that must be nice. But it's just like, to me, it seems so unordinary, even though it's like I have my dad and he was like amazing to me, but like having seen like real life people like have a good relationship with
Yeah.
their kids is kind of like it's out there,
It
Speaking of that, so I told you before, we started recording on Tuesdays. I have my daughter, so we go to the aquarium, and so she sleeps in the stroller, and then she'll wake up, and we'll do another lap so she can see things. But when I was there on Tuesday for the first hour and a half, I shit you not, I was the only guy in the aquarium. It was all the stay-at-home moms with their kids, and I got dirty looks.
Dang, yeah.
Like I would walk by, and these women kind of like make a face at me as I'm like, am I not allowed to spend time with my baby?
Yeah.
So it's sad that that's the stigma.
Yeah.
Almost of dad just being
Always
dad
work-
in
yeah.
the picture.
Yeah, present fathers are
Yeah.
weird. But Nick, you just next time you just need to yell at him, be like, "I like fish."
Like I'm here for me, okay? If I can leave her ass
I'm not
home,
here-
I
I'm not here
would.
for
This
the
is her.
kid.
This is
I'm not here
she's
for the
5 months
kid.
old. She doesn't know what's
I like
going
fish.
No, it's crazy though. Like it's yeah. I mean, I post that a lot on my social media, hanging out with my kid and stuff, especially now. And I told Nick the first 3 to 4 months of being a dad, I wasn't really being a dad because I held him, he cried, give it back to mama.
Yep.
Right. I mean, there's not much that I can do until he started walking. Oh yeah, that is when I come home. He opens the door. He goes, "Daddy." That feeling that he's missing, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like, because that is everything. I mean, for you as a single mom, you're a great mom. You're doing everything you can to be there for her and show up for her. And also, she's going to look up to you and be like, wow, this is the person I want to be growing up.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah,
just
no,
setting
and
the
I
example
appreciate
for
it.
when she's older
Yeah.
to be like, well, I saw what my mom went through, and she
Yeah.
taught me that I shouldn't deal with shit like that. So, when she's old enough to date, she sees a guy like that, she's gonna be like, yeah, no.
Yeah. And I'm very fortunate
Not gonna
because
bother.
like I get to have more love from her. Like I don't have to share her. I don't have to like.
Yeah. You don't have to worry
know.
about like custody or anything
Yeah,
either. It's just she's
no.
straight yours.
Yeah, I
you
filed
get to
for-
build those
yeah,
memories.
I filed full custody, changed her last name. Like,
Good.
Yeah,
she's
Good.
yeah.
that's awesome.
So how old were you and her when he was completely removed from the picture?
I want to say, because he would reach out here and there, like FaceTime, maybe like every month, every like couple months
Dad
or so.
of the year.
And he,
Jesus
and it would like,
I'll buy him a coffee mug.
Yeah.
so it would, I mean, I remember 6 months, he left at 6 months. He moved out when she was 6 months. And then when he was officially gone, I want to say like she was probably like a year or two.
Yeah.
So
That's the best part of their life, you know.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of you know, you hear parents talk about, oh, they're little. I wanna spend a lot of time at work and make all this money. Da 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 da. Well, you got to realize that is when they need you most. Because by the time they hit 13, 14, 15, they don't need you as much. To the point where I'm like, Dad, can you not drop me off in front of the school?
Don't hug me when my friends look.
Yeah, I know that era is gonna come.
Yep.
And I'm okay with that. But that's because I spent my time with him and teach him how to be a man.
Yeah.
At such a young age, and especially for a daughter, like, I mean, there's so many situations where, you know, people have daddy issues, right,
Yeah.
and things like that. So it's just crazy.
The
So
only daddy issue my daughter's gonna have is that I'm overly affectionate and she hates my dad jokes.
Yep, that's better than none.
I
It's better
cannot
than-
wait
it's
for
better.
her to be like, "Will you shut up and leave me alone?" Like, nope.
Well, I'm
That-
very
crazy.
thankful that my dad is like her dad. Like she
Yeah.
sees my dad as her dad, and I have like amazing brothers.
Yeah.
Like,
So she's got a
Yeah.
good support system.
oh yeah, I have an amazing family support.
I love
Good.
that.
Yeah, so I always often joke about them, like we all co-parent. You know, like
I love that.
That's how it is. I mean, there's the phrase "it takes a village to
Oh,
raise a
yeah.
kid," but that's exactly how it is.
It's true.
yeah,
You
It's
know,
true.
I mean, that's what family's supposed to be. It's not. I mean, it's aunts and uncles and grandparents, but they
Mm-hmm.
also have to help parent the kid. Like I ground my nieces and nephews. I
Oh, dude.
discipline them,
Yeah.
and when my daughter's old enough, I'll be like, "Oh, your aunt said that you're grounded. I'm not even going to question why. You're grounded, dude. Have fun."
That's crazy. So when did you start to go to the gym, and you know, what was your fitness journey looks like before you met me?
yeah. So after that relationship kind of like it ended. I always had like a membership at the gym, but I didn't really go. You know, like I just had it, but I didn't know how to work out properly. I would just kind of go train and do whatever. So I most of the time I wouldn't go because I'm like, what am I even gonna do? Like I've never seen this machine before. Like, you know, I would just do cardio. I would just be on the stairs for 30 minutes, call it a day. So it wasn't like very structured. So I would just go whenever, you know.
Which is better than nothing.
Yeah, at least you're
Yeah.
doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
right.
then I lost a lot of weight, like just doing cardio. Like I wasn't very eating, and then breastfeeding, so I lost a lot of weight too. So I was just like skinny,
Really?
like no muscle, just
Wow.
skinny.
What was your diet like at the time?
So I did my best to eat healthy because.
empanadas, tortilla.
Well, I
I'm
mean,
just
yeah, I
kidding.
mean, being Hispanic, I mean,
Yeah.
All the good
it's,
food.
you know, I can.
Oh yeah, empanadas, baby.
Yeah. So I mean, I ate bad,
Mm-hmm.
but still kind of healthy to have good breast milk. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So it was just like, but I wasn't the best either way, you know?
Yeah.
And then, so my fitness before meeting you guys, it wasn't what it is now. Like, it wasn't structured. It was just kind of
Yeah.
like, oh, here and there, you know?
Okay.
That's crazy. So then fast forward to when you met me.
Yeah.
By the
how,
way,
how did you meet him?
yeah.
What? I'm just kidding.
What?
Next question.
Wait, do
I'm
we
just-
want to know?
Just kidding. No. So I met Yo through a mutual friend. I'm just kidding.
You can say it. You can say it.
Just kidding. So I met Yo through an ex at that time.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
He was working with me.
That's
He's
right.
been working with me for I think 6 months at that point, and then brought Kim into
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
program.
Yeah. Well, I think we went for a workout that night, and then because I remember one time you called him out for posting on a story for drinking. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember
Yeah.
that. Yeah, he
I-
posted the beers that he was having
Yeah.
too. You
That
called
was
him out.
me.
And by the way,
That was me.
and by the way, and he was just bitching about why he's not losing the
Yep.
fat or losing the weight the week before that. And then I saw his story drinking beer. I'm like, are you kidding me? You know,
Yeah.
like a
Yeah,
lot of my
I-
clients know that I watch their stories, and I don't watch your stories because I want to spy on you. Because I like to see what you're up to and whatever, and it helps promote me too if you tag me in it, right?
Yep.
Which is awesome. But and he posts something. He was drinking beer, and I'm like, what is going on? So I called him out. Yeah, and then
Yeah,
Kim happened
you
to
were
be there.
aggressive
Yeah.
about it too. I
and
remember
I
that.
remember he showed me the message, and I was like, "Dang, he looks like an ass. Like, what the fuck?" I was like, "Damn, it's just a beer. Relax." But now I get it.
Yeah.
Now I get it.
Now
You
you
know,
get
in
it.
that
Yep.
mentality, that mindset, I was like,
Yep.
"It's just a beer. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, like."
So
who cares?
I wouldn't say aggressive, but it was very
It was
straightforward.
direct.
It was very direct.
Yeah.
It was very
Yeah.
straightforward.
Well, I mean,
Some people can take it offensively, but you
Yeah.
got to understand, you guys pay us to do that.
Yeah.
You pay us to call you out. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, you had a beer? That's great.
Yeah.
It's okay. No. You want a cut? You just bitched about how you're not losing weight. You bitched about why you're not looking the way you look, and then you go out and have beer. That's the problem that I have. And then, I'm going to call you out. Yeah. But I'm only going to do that once, maybe twice. But you won't hear from me again. Because at that point, if I continue having that same conversation, what that means is you would only show up 50% of the time. Which then in return, I show up for you 50% of the time. I'm only going to coach you as much as you want to be coached. That's how it works, right? I can't want it more than you do. It doesn't make sense, right? But I called them out. I remember that.
So I had not a bad impression, but I already had this like idea of you. I was like, dang, he's gonna be like harsh and you are, but I was like, I just had the like, oh, he looks intimidating, and I was like, there's no way, And so that night when we went to the gym, he's like, oh, my coach is here. And I was like, dang, he's going to call me out too or something, Did
I?
No, you didn't.
Oh, okay.
But
Like, hey, did you drink a beer?
Good.
Did you have a beer recently?
Well, yeah, and then that's when I basically had my consultation without even like having it planned. So it was like, I feel like it was meant to be, because we were just gymming that night. And
I was working late, I think.
Yeah, you were working late. And so then we just did the consultation. You like checked my fat, I believe, everything. And then we were already going on a trip to Disneyland. And so that's when we were like, oh, when we come back, let's do it. And that's kind of where it all started.
And they actually paid me before they went to Disneyland.
Yeah.
Good.
With the thought process of like, if I don't do this now, I'm not going to do it after. Which was a good move. Yeah. I hate to take your money before you go on vacation like that, but I think that's something.
But it shows that you're serious about it. Because, yes, you're going on vacation, and that's already expensive. Yeah. So if you have to wait till you come back, that's fine. But then when you come back, you're tired.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, God, like the last thing I want to do after eating good food and having some alcohol or like having fun is now I have to eat clean and I have to go to the gym and do all these things. I just want to relax and take my time with it.
Meal
and
prepping,
then that motivation's gone.
Yeah, meal prepping is the hardest part when you get back from vacation. I don't care what anybody says. That's the hardest part. Because sometimes when we go back from vacation, on our way home, we stop at the grocery store first. It doesn't matter how tired we are because I know when we get home, we don't have any food. We've been gone for a week and a half or 2 weeks or whatever. I don't have anything. So we have to make sure, or we do like an Instacart.
Yeah, we'll do
I'll
that.
order,
So that it's delivered as soon as we get home.
Smart.
So I just grab the groceries, walk inside, and then.
So the best way, so let's talk about this real quick. Yeah. So people are listening to this right now. A lot of our clients, if you guys are wondering how we get back to routine when you get back from vacation. So first things first, even before we land to wherever you live, or when we're at the airport, we automatically either Uber Eats or Instacart right to your home. You don't have to go to the store. You can just pick your chicken, your eggs, your egg whites, whatever, and then have it delivered right to your front door. So the next morning or later that day, it's at your house. Yeah. So you have zero excuses.
Well, that's actually really smart because you didn't really think about it. Yeah. Because usually you get home from vacation and like I'll start tomorrow.
Yeah.
And you still kind of
you have to unpack, do laundry, shower, put shit away. So it's hard. But also when we're on vacation. And we tell clients, when you go on vacation, have fun, relax, just be mindful of what it is you're consuming. Don't overeat, don't eat things that are going to make you sick. But when we go, if we have an Airbnb, I just order groceries to the Airbnb. So I'm still meal prepping and eating the same things, but it's also because it just saves me money. And I can enjoy the vacation and not be like, oh, when we go out tonight, I'm going to get this dish, I'm going to get that, and now I'm sick because I cooked it in butter or whatever it is.
And then you get inflamed, you get bloated.
You're
on vacation, you're uncomfortable. You don't want to take your shirt off because you feel bloated, right? Even though you look the same. You know what I mean? Like we know what that feels like. Yeah. So it
doesn't have to be as extreme as what we do, but to me it's just easier that way. It's like I'd rather just eat what I normally eat, so I don't have to think what do I want to eat while I'm on vacation and spend all the money.
Because it is true, your body gets used to the foods that you eat, and then if you're like, even if you eat something healthy, like at a restaurant or something. You still get bloated.
Yeah. Well, you don't know what they cooked it in. Yeah. They could be cooking in butter, a certain oil. They could put certain seasonings on it that make you sick. I never understood
this term. You are what you eat. I never really understand that until I do what I do. Yeah. Now that I do what I do, I'm like, oh, yeah.
You really are chicken and rice.
Yeah. Do I look like chicken and rice? I look like chicken and rice, honestly.
I look like the rice because I'm so white.
Okay, so you went to Disneyland.
Yeah.
And then you came back. And I think if I remember correctly, the following week, that was your first training with me. So you were my in-person client. for the first 24 weeks. And then the second 24 weeks, you became my online client, right? I'm not sure what made that. Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know now. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
We'll get to that. Okay. So then you started your journey. And so how was your journey? Your like literally the first month, the first 2 months. Was it hard? Was it easy?
It was hard for sure. Just because, somebody telling you to work out and do this, I was just like I know what I'm doing, but in reality, I didn't know what I was doing.
We all think the same.
Yeah.
Is that because you were active when you were in high school? That
Yeah.
you're like, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
I know how to work out.
So when he was like, dude, this is your form, fix your form. Like, dude, watch, I'll show you. Just kidding.
She came in with a lot of attitude,
Bro,
apparently.
I'm telling you.
Just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. No, but it was hard for sure because I was sore. I remember I was so sore for like weeks. There was like no breaks, and the food was hard. I think I was eating a lot because we were trying to find my maintenance, I believe. So I was eating a lot. So I wasn't.
You know how much you're eating by chance?
I think it was like 2,300 or something.
Oh, 23. We went up to 2,300.
So I think it was. So it was pretty up. It was pretty high.
Yeah.
So I was like, I didn't know. It was just so much to like feel all at once.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming. I know.
Yep.
Yeah. And especially with life, mom, work.
I'm sure,
everything.
having the kid too makes it hard.
And then you add your health journey on top of everything you
meal
got going
prepping
on.
too. It's just like,
Yeah.
I mean, you guys know it's like hard to find time. But
Always.
yeah. So the first couple months were tough. But it was good. It was a good first 2 months.
Yeah. So so it was hard the first 2 months, and then you continue, and then I think we started seeing some progress. But you and I did that video. It's still on I
The
pinned
Bulgarian split
Yes,
one, right?
I
Yeah.
pinned it on my social media.
Yeah, I know.
And we have so
Trust,
she
I
knows.
know.
so we have a new video coming out actually.
Yeah.
So what I did with Carol, what we
Yeah,
did
yeah, yeah.
before and after. So I had her come in and I trained with Kim, and exact same spot, exact same movement, and she's a completely different person. So I'm excited to
I'm
put
excited
that
for you guys
together.
to see it. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I don't want to say like I'm embarrassed of it, but it's just hard seeing myself that week and that like when I see her, I'm like, I can't believe that was me. Like it's hard to see myself. Like
Let me ask you a question. When that video posted earlier this year, that was back in January.
Yeah.
You've told me there was a lot of people that reach out to you in a positive outlook. You look at it as a negative.
Yeah.
You did not like that video. You didn't want me to post that video.
No,
But I convinced you, and we did that. And I said, I think if I remember correctly, I wanted to post that video because you can inspire so many moms out there. And what was that conversation like when people were starting to reach out to you?
Like when I saw the little notification of like, oh, yo posted and you were tagged and stuff, I was like, fuck, he posted it. Damn. And then that's when all the messages started like coming in. I reposted it, I believe. And then people were just like messaging me like beautiful messages, like so positive, and like it honestly felt like I was seen, because I was like, oh, I saw myself in a negative spotlight. Like I had like bad thoughts of myself, but like seeing and receiving those messages from like other like females, because you know how girls are like rude, but they were like, everybody was so
encouraging,
like,
and
it's
good.
And so it made me feel like seen, and that I had a voice.
Did it feel your motivation as well? Like,
Oh, yeah.
Did it fuel you?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because, like I was weak in that moment, but I was just like, okay, just wait on it. Like, if you guys seen this was like positive and like, like motivating and stuff, like just wait,
Yeah.
So now
And
we're here.
Look at where you at today, ladies
And not
and gentlemen.
even a year. That's crazy to me. Like I think that is what's mind blowing. It's like it hasn't even been a year from that video,
From that video.
or not even a year from when I started with you.
1 year will be October, right?
Like
So,
October.
yeah.
I
So
think
about
it was
a
like
month?
mid-October.
Mid-October.
So about a month from
Yeah.
now.
And that video was created back in January. I remember that video very well, and it's still to this day I still have people go to my profile,
Yeah.
because that's the first thing they see. They see my transformation, they see your video, and then they see Scott's video,
Yeah.
and they click on that, and I get likes from it all the time.
Yeah. Well, I still get notifications when people like that video.
Yeah.
And even though I'm like, they saw me crying, but I'm like, that was me at that time. Like, So I can't wait for everybody to see like the new
Updated
video.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be good.
Did you think you would ever be here when you started? I mean, obviously you're like, okay, I'm gonna get a transformation out of this, but did you ever think it would not just be a physical transformation, but the mental and emotional as well? That you'd be a
No.
completely different version of yourself?
Definitely not, because I lost people in this journey, you know, and even though it wasn't easy, losing important people that I like loved, it made me be the person that I am today. I feel like I shredded the old Kim.
Yep.
And this new Kim came to light.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's something we talk to our clients about, and I tell mine a lot, that it's an identity shift.
Yeah.
You're going to become a different version of you. You can't have the physical transformation, but remain the same mental, emotional state. You have to address those things, because as you're building new habits, eventually, and I know for a fact you experienced it, we did, I know Colton did, all of our clients, your brain all of a sudden just snaps and says, hey, dude, we got some shit we have to talk about. Even though you don't want to, your brain forces you to. So one of two things can happen. You can either ignore it, and then everything's going to go stagnant and you're going to give up, or you address it head on, you feel like shit for a moment, and then you overcome and you move forward. And that's obviously what you did, because like now look at you. You are not the same Kim as you were when I first met you. You are 100% different.
Can we go back and talk about the people that you've lost?
Yeah.
You don't have to say names, but do you like who, where, when, like what part of your journey that you've lost people? Is it because of who you are today in terms of like being the healthy new version of Kim?
Yeah. No, so I was in a relationship when I met you. Kind of like what I mentioned earlier. So I was in a relationship, and the first 6 months, it was nice having an accountability partner, kind of like having somebody to go to the gym and like
meal prep with.
Yeah, meal prep. Yeah, somewhat, you know, because it was like, I'm going to be honest, you know, I have to be honest.
Yes,
you know?
you should. Thank you.
I was like, oh, let's not get too far, Nick.
Oh, the dirty secret's coming out now.
Ooh.
Yeah.
No, well, I know like I know I didn't give it my all as I did the second time around. Yeah. You know, because I feel like I had like my foot in and foot out, because it felt like if that person had a cheat meal or didn't go to the gym, I didn't go to the gym and I would have a cheat meal. So I was very dependent on that person's own journey.
Yeah.
I wasn't very like my own journey, you know?
You were doing it more for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though I love fitness, like I love like sports, I love like being active back then, you know? I mean, I do, but like I had a different mindset of being active is back then.
Were you just afraid to tell him no? Like if he got a cheat meal, were you too afraid to say, no, I don't want that, I'm going to eat my food? Or was it just like, well,
yeah, because I was,
all right, what's one cheat meal going to do, right?
I'm
like, it's fine.
Yeah, no, it was like that, because I do want to say he was like supportive, you know, he was supportive and, you know, encouraging, but it was kind of like, oh, if you have one, I'll have one. Like, we're in this together. We're, you know, like, yo, the coach is in here. Just
Oh, but we are.
Yeah.
You think we're not, but we
are.
are.
No, but mentally, you guys are. Like, every time I'm like,
we know.
Should I? I'm like, I hear yo in the back of my head. Like,
you know how many times I've heard that? Every time my clients.
Or even, I'm like, where's yo? Like, is he?
You little bastard. Well, I love, because we have clients, like, if you have something, just be honest with us.
Yeah.
You know, there is a certain point where we're going to be like, okay, why? And we are going to have the hard conversation. It's like, if you had a cheeseburger, like, there's nothing I can do about it now, but we need to talk about why that happened. But they try to hide it. And then you send your check in, but because you're sending it every week with photos, we can see where you hold your stress, where you hold your bloat, when you aren't sleeping well, when you do eat shit you shouldn't have. So then we see it, and I'm like, this guy, I'm like, bro, what did you? Oh, no, I didn't have anything, dude. Like, well, it's like, really? Okay, maybe not Colton, but I have some clients like, dude, I swear I didn't have anything, and I'm like, if that's the hill you're gonna die on, that's fine. And then 2 days later, like, okay, like, yeah, fine. I had like a chicken fried steak at Denny's. I'm like, dude, just tell me. Just like we learn your body a little better sometimes than you do.
Yeah,
so we can see it. It's like, just tell us.
Like we always talk about, we're never going to get mad at you for eating outside of your plan, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but what we want to know is we want to have that conversation about, okay, what was your situation look like?
What was the emotion you were feeling? Did you have a bad day at work? Because if you did, that's fine. But now it's the next time that feeling comes up, we need to recognize it and address it.
Yeah.
Right? Because the food's always going to be there. Eating comfort food doesn't make you feel better. It's just a coping mechanism. So we need to learn that behavior so we can then unlearn it and replace it with something else.
Calories are just calories.
Yeah.
You know, I don't care if you eat healthy or not healthy. Calories are still calories, right? I mean, we talked about this a lot where people think, oh, I eat healthy all the time. And I'm like, cool, what are you eating? And then they have a whole all-you-can-eat buffet of healthy food.
Well, I ate a salad. It's like, okay, but you had a side of salad with the ranch dressing. Like, that's not healthy.
And it's stuff like you don't think about, like little stuff like that. Yeah. It's like added calories and carbs.
It is.
Extra carbs, fat, sugar, sodium, whatever it is.
And then how they cook it, deep fried.
I ate the chicken, but I used half a stick of butter when I cooked it.
And even now, if I wanted to do a cheat meal, I'll go out and then instead of asking for fried dumplings, I'll do like a steamed dumplings.
Yep.
Right. So those little changes really helps a lot. So again, if I go to like the mall and then we get the chicken teriyaki at the Japanese place, and instead of asking to put extra sauce, you don't have to put extra sauce. Right. Little things adds up throughout the day. But it could be a negative as well, because at the end of the day, if you don't think about that, those calories adds up too. Yeah. You think you eat less. A lot of people don't know. They underestimate how much they're actually eating.
Exactly.
Until you track it and you're like, oh my God, I just had 90 grams of fat in that ribeye.
Yeah.
And that was breakfast. I'm at dinner.
Who the hell's having a ribeye for breakfast?
Me.
Dude, I started tracking stuff just to see like on MyFitnessPal. So, you know, because on occasion I want to have like, I don't have, you know what I mean? Like,
of course.
Have something. So at work, we have like a little convenience store on the second floor. You can get like Cheez-It, like little bags like Cheez-Its and stuff. And I was like, I could probably fit this into my meal plan, little snacks here and there. And there was these donuts, like just a pack of 6 donuts. And I was like, oh, I just want to scan it and see what this would do. And it was 30 grams of fat, half of my daily fat intake in 6 little donuts. And people don't realize that because they're like, oh, it's a small pack of donuts. It's like, but it's loaded with 30 grams of fat.
It's called marketing.
Yeah.
They're really good at telling you, oh, it's keto friendly. And you look at the package and like,
because it's high fat.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Or even like the protein bars. You know, because I where I work, they have like a whole kitchen area, so it's like stacked with like protein bars, just like snacks, all restock. They restock it every other day.
Oh, before we talk about your work, let's go back to
where
so you,
losing.
You get a cheat meal, you get a cheat meal.
Oh I forgot.
Yeah, because I know. That's why we're going back. I don't think you.
She's trying to avoid the conversation.
Trying to steer the.
So these donuts, right?
So
what kind were they? I was just kidding.
So let's go back to that. So when you say you lost people, obviously, you know, we talked about losing that person that very important in your life. Is there anyone else, or is it
like friend groups?
Well, I was never very like social, you know, so I don't want to say like I lost friends with, you know, like through this journey. But even like now, like dating, it's kind of like when they ask me to go out or something, I'm kind of like,
can you send me the menu first?
Yeah, or like where? Well, not even that, but it's kind of like because I gym at night. It's really the only time I can really like gym. So it's like, should I like gym or go out to dinner with this new person that I'm like, you know, I'm like, oh, I'll just gym, you know? So I feel like that's has taken like, I don't want to say an effect of my, like this journey, but it's like.
Do you think you just see it more as like subconsciously, you still need to take care of yourself first before you can get back into a relationship type thing? Yeah, I'm
choosing myself first because like this past relationship, I put that person first a lot. Yeah. Like their needs, their wants. Yep. It was always them first. And that's just who I am. Like I always put the other person first, you know?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's just how I am. And so now it's kind of like I want to put myself first. I want to do what makes me feel happy, which is like gymming, like eating what I'm supposed to, even though like sometimes I miss my meals or like
say it, just say it.
Say it.
That face.
No, but I mean, because it's like my weakness is sweets. Like I love sweets. Like you know, pan dulce. You know, that's like my thing. You know, so it's just like putting myself first is my main my main
With that
priority.
So does that
Yeah.
mean that you will change your outlook or perspective when you are dating someone in the future?
Yeah, for sure. Especially if they are not like working on themselves.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a turn off.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like, I know who I was. I know my mindset, how it was back then. And if you're kind of in that negative mindset as well, like, don't bring me into that, you know?
Yeah.
No, but that's how it should be,
Yeah.
you know, because you've done all this work. Now imagine losing that.
Yeah.
The craziest
And I think
thing-
that's what I'm scared of,
Yeah.
honestly. I think that's what I'm scared of, like, dating again, is like falling back into the old habits.
Yeah.
And even with YoYo, like, after the first 6 months and that breakup, because I was with him for like a year and a half or almost 2 years, like on and off. When he ended things with me, I was scared I was gonna fall back into the old habits, because I was, even though like I wasn't giving it my all, I already knew like I need to work out, like I need to eat healthy, you know, like I was already like kind of like programming myself. So when he broke up with me, it was just kind of like, I don't want to fall into the old habits and like start all over from square one, you know? So I think that's when I started really like finding myself and like digging myself out of this kind of like emotional hole, you know? Because I was like, there's no way I'm going to lose all this progress.
I think if I remember correctly, you and I had a really deep conversation after that.
Yeah.
Because you had left me for
like a month.
I think
Yeah,
I
like
think
it
you
was
made
like
it
a
a month
month,
by yourself. And then you came back. Well, you told me you wanted to come back. You weren't ready yet. I'm like, I'm fine with that. And then, but you kept on following the meal plan, which is great. And then when we came back, I think you and I had that deep conversation of finding out who you truly are. Are you doing this for you? If you're doing it for him, don't do it at all. Because you're not ready. And that mindset shifted so good to the point where you look at you today, who you are today and who you were before. It's a completely different person. I think that's the most beautiful thing that I see as a coach. You know, I've seen Colton's change. I've seen Nick. You know, I've known Nick for a very, very long time. And I'm seeing all of our clients change, and they're a completely different person.
I mean, the physical transformation obviously is great. Because it shows, okay, you followed the plan, our job worked, we did what we needed to do. But it's just seeing how much happier you are, and the way you walk into a room, just the way you carry yourself, like that's what we love. That's what we want to look for. Because again, the physical side of it, great. But the new confidence that you find. And then now, like I said, it's not that you're being picky with who you're dating, but in a way you kind of are, because now it's like, well, I have my goals and things I'm working on. You need to support me. Right? Like if our wives didn't support us with what it is we're doing, whether it's business or the fitness side of things, either we wouldn't be together or we would just give up. But the fact that they support us and they help where they can, and then we can help them with it, like that's what you deserve, and that's what you need to look for. Because if you get a guy who's like, do you really need to go to the gym tonight? Or like, go.
Or even I was
Done.
like talking to this one guy, like he made a comment of like, oh, I don't like when girls are too fit.
What?
I was like,
What? What does
Like,
that even mean?
Get out. Please get out. Don't come back.
Listen.
Because I was just like, nah. I was just kind of, because they know how like I'm into like fitness and working out now. I think that's like kind of like what I
It's who you are
show.
today.
Yeah.
I mean, I get if like they're one of these bodybuilding women who are on a shit ton of gear, who've been doing this for 20, 30 years. Like, okay, if you're not into the masculine, that's totally fine. Everyone has their preference. But to me, that is a huge insecurity. If he's saying, I don't like
On
that you're too fit.
Yeah, and I think that was kind of, I was kind of
Like, what does that even
bro,
mean?
I can probably like lift more than you, but
yeah, you can.
yeah, but I was just kind of
His
like
ass better be cleaning the house at that point. Because
Yeah.
dinner.
Yeah,
and
no,
like,
hold on. You should never date anybody that you could whoop their ass. Like,
no, seriously.
100%. But what,
My
it's like
quads on.
when somebody when somebody says something like that, like, I don't like that you go to the gym a lot or whatever. It's basically saying like, I don't like that you do things to make yourself better because I'm not going to be able to keep up.
Well, it
with
shows
you
how they
or-
feel about themselves.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't like that you're too fit.
Yeah.
You need to not be as fit. So it's like,
next thing
okay,
you
so
know-
you want me to now come down to your level?
Yeah.
And feel like you?
that's-
No.
Yeah.
You need to come to my level.
Yeah.
at the minimum.
Not the other way. Yeah. Bare minimum, you need to start coming. But again, they don't have to go to the gym as often. They don't have to eat the meal plan, right? But they need to do something to take care of themselves.
And you already know the comments after, like, get together, and then all of a sudden, who you looking good for? You trying
Oh,
to go
yeah.
meet someone? And
That's my PTSD right there.
I've been there, dude.
I mean, like with my wife's, so she switched it's the same job, but she switched financial firms. And so now it's just literally 10 minutes down the road from our house. And they have a gym. And so she's like, hey, instead of me getting to work by 8, I kind of want to get to work by 7 so I can work out. So to me, my initial thought was like, well, shit, now if I, like last night, my game was at 11:30. I got in bed at 2. So if I get in bed at 2 and then she's leaving at 6:30, I have to be up at 6:30 in case the baby wakes up. So I'm like, well, now I'm not going to get any sleep. And the only time I can do homework is when the baby goes to bed. So I'm already getting in bed super late. But I'm like, you know, but if that's the way that she can get in the physical exercise and take care of herself and she can feel better about herself, I guess I'll just have an extra cup of coffee that morning. Like, you know, I'm not going to say, no, you can't go feel good about yourself because I'm not going to get sleep now.
And I feel like being a partner,
right?
you would want your partner to succeed
I want her
in
to,
all
yeah.
aspects.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
And speaking about all aspects, so once you started making this transformation and you look good, you feel good, did any other parts of your life, obviously, relationship included and your personal, did any parts of your life get better because you work on yourself?
Yeah, just like in general, like with work, you just see a different, you just take everything that comes at you in a different kind of mindset. With work, family, it's just kind of
You're
like
more confident.
Yeah. And kind of like what you mentioned, like the mindset of you guys see your guys' clients like mindset improve and things like that. Like I remember back then I would always walk with my head down. Like I would always kind of like look down.
Avoid eye contact.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And even though like I'm a shy person, you know, but I walk in a room and I feel confident and I feel like I walk with my head up high. I'm like or even at the gym, like I in the weight area where like all the big dudes are, you know, I'm like,
You feel comfortable.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm going to get my weights and like, I'm here too, you know?
What about in terms of being a mom? Did you notice any, you know, just changes in how you handle certain situations with your daughter or how you parent her?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I think in the meeting for the Zoom call, I mentioned that I was making eggs. And at that time, well, I still kind of am, like the egg whites and spinach is kind of what I eat for breakfast. And she'll be like, I was making her eggs one day and she was like, Mom, can you put grass in my eggs? And I was like, grass?
The spinach.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was like, grass. But I mean, she meant
I was
the
concerned
spinach.
for a minute.
You thought a different kind of grass.
Yeah, I'm like,
No, not that. That's in my room. But I'm just kidding.
You're like, oh, that's why she sleeps so good. That's why she's calm all day.
that's why the room smells like skunk.
Wow.
It's weird. Anyway.
Yeah, no. So those little things, like she was talking about my spinach, you know.
Yeah.
And so those little things, like she notices, that makes me happy because I'm like, oh, she's noticing like all these like positive like adjustments and changes and things like that.
Well,
but
she wants to eat like what you're eating, right?
Yeah, because I mean, kids are smart; they see everything.
Yeah.
They see everything.
Very
Yeah.
observant.
And they hear everything.
Yeah.
They see and hear
they-
everything. Not necessarily smell everything, but they probably see.
Yep.
And,
Yeah.
So now that we're talking about work, right? So you're more confident at work. And how do you have like an office job? What do you do for a living, if you don't mind me asking?
So I'm an account manager.
Okay.
So I manage a lot of like my company's accounts and things like that. Accounts, yeah.
Dad joke 101. God damn
If
it.
you guys didn't
I
make
wrong?
it obvious. So it's like a lot of like meetings and a lot of like presentations and things like
So
that.
in an office, yes.
Yeah, in an office setting.
And so every day when you bring your meals,
yeah,
they probably see it.
yeah,
Do they ask questions?
yeah. They
Yeah.
I
What were the
mean,
comments like when you first started?
And you know, it's like it's always the same thing. Like, oh, ground turkey again. I'm like, yeah, again, because I'm a ground turkey. I prefer ground turkey over chicken any day. You know.
100%. I don't like chicken breasts. It's horrible.
Yeah.
So I
they're
put
like,
an assload of buffalo sauce
Yeah.
on mine.
Yeah.
So I can just,
And
I
then-
think we all smell
I
it
can just
in
drink
the
it.
office.
That's
Yeah, I know.
I think we all smell it.
you know, I'm at work.
Yeah. So people are supportive or not supportive?
Yeah,
at work?
honestly, like I'm very thankful that I have amazing friends. Like coworkers are very supportive,
I love that.
and you know they encourage me to like keep going. And even though they kind of like make little jokes like, "Oh, you're gonna eat that again," or like you know like those little like
Yeah.
jabs.
But you know, it's just it's in a joking way. It's not serious.
Yeah, it's not like in a meaning like bad
Yeah.
way or anything, you know. But if there's like cookies or something, if they see me eyeing things, they're like, "Oh, don't," and I'm like, so they
Good.
like help me.
Yeah.
Good.
So I don't want to say like I have like I've had or lost like negative people like that because I'm so thankful that even my family have been super
That's good.
supportive of
Yeah,
like
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So how did you deal with when they do like potlucks on Fridays and when the team goes out for lunch? Do you get involved with that? and just have your meals, or what do you do in that situation? Because it's gonna happen.
Oh,
or
yeah.
Or they're
And
gonna be like, hey,
has,
Kim, we're gonna go and get some sushi burrito. You wanna you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wanna come? Yeah. Sushi burrito.
No,
sushi
honestly, I
burrito's
don't
dope.
go.
No?
Like, if I'm like, even though it's like a work thing or whatever, it's like I don't.
Sometimes they
go.
call it like a team building.
Yeah.
Like I honestly just don't go.
Yeah.
Because I know myself.
Yeah.
And
Do you know that you're gonna eat the food or?
that and drink. I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Really? Yeah, the beer. Back to the beer.
Oh yeah, back to
Back to the beer.
Wait,
Full
what?
circle.
Just kidding. Yeah. No, I just know myself just because like I just, especially like being in an environment with like your friends and you're vibing and things like that, you're just like, oh, why not, But if I do, it's just I usually eat before or just
Bring your meal
don't
with
go.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yep. But I like to say, like, 'cause we've talked about it before, but you saying, like, oh, it's just one drink, or it's just, you can have it once, right? I tell my clients, I saw someone on Instagram post this, and so I use the analogy all the time, metabolic debt. So let's say your friends are like, hey, Kim, we're going to go on a cruise. You should totally come. Like, that sounds good, but I just don't have the money right now. Put it on a credit card. Like, you have credit cards, like, just do that. And they keep pestering you, and you're like, okay, and then you do, and now you're in more debt. And you're like, well, now I have to pay off more. I'm in further debt. This is going to put me behind on things. You're like, well, why should I go into debt for you guys to go on a vacation that I don't want to go on, right?
Yeah.
So I tell my clients, think of food the same. Why are you going to put your body into further debt when you're already trying to pay off that debt just to please them?
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't make sense. So you're going to put yourself in further debt. Now we have more things we have to pay off. It's like, just tell them no, because once you pay off that debt, then they're going to ask you, how the hell do you do it? Like, how did you do
and
this?
it's crazy you say that, because now if I eat something that isn't, well, not if I eat something, but if I see something that I want to eat, and now, especially now, like being on a macro plan, I could kind of play around with more foods now.
Yeah.
But even that, it's still kind of like, okay, this is a little bit more than what I would usually be eating on my meal plan.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's another like 30 minutes on the stairs or on the treadmill. I'm like, do I really want to do, like, it's just like, your mindset truly does change when it comes to like eating.
Yeah.
And those little like changes, I feel like have made me who I am now, because I'm like, this is.
Well, it's more discipline, it's more structure.
Yeah.
It's easier to say no to things.
Yeah.
So I know you said you didn't lose like, necessarily friends and family and all throughout the journey, but was there ever a point where you had to tell someone no to a drink or to going out, and then they stopped inviting you, or they got upset, or were you lucky enough to avoid that?
Yeah, no, so even like family parties, like my family from California has like came to Utah a couple times already, and we have like parties and things like that, and they make obviously amazing food, but I just don't eat anything, and I know they would be like you're not gonna eat, and I'm like, oh no, like I'm gonna eat right now, but it's like my little like my 4 ounces of ground turkey or whatever, with my little like carrots, cucumbers, and they're like, you're not gonna eat like birria, like we just made this food for everybody to eat. But so it was a lot of like questions, like, why are you doing that? But then I'm like, I'll show them like my transformation pictures and things like that. I'm like, oh, this is how I used to look like this is who I'm working towards.
So
to
you've shown people your
oh
transformation.
yeah.
What did I say?
It's like, they're like, there's no way this is you. I was like, that was me. And a lot of people, like, I showed my brother actually like my transformation pictures, and he's like, I just don't believe you were that big. And I was like,
which you weren't like big.
No.
You weren't big at all.
I was big,
but you had more body fat.
Yeah.
More body fat. Yeah.
But the thing is, I was like, because I wore a lot of like oversized shirts. I wore a lot of
Tried
black.
to hide it a lot.
Yeah, and it's like, I think in that video of me that you have, that white shirt that I had, it was like my oversized tee.
Yeah.
But it was slowly starting to become like a tight shirt.
Fitted tee.
And I was like, whoa, like this is supposed to be an oversized tee, not a fitted shirt, But now that shirt is like
it's like a dress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's what I use to go to sleep, because it's so huge on me.
You don't even need a blanket.
You still wear it?
Yeah, I still wear it, because I mean, it's like I like the shirt,
Yeah,
but
of
I think
course.
it's like a reminder. I'm like, wow, like this shirt used to be kind of like fit on me especially on my back, because I remember it would kind of like fold into my rolls,
Oh no, actually she did. It's not, she. Sorry, you sent me the picture of you wearing
Oh yeah, and that was a different shirt. Yeah.
A long sleeve.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like a crop long sleeve white from Gymshark, I think. And then she took the back picture, and then she wore it again a couple months later. I don't know, 6 months later or whatever.
Yeah.
And completely, it was just no fat rolls,
Fits
nothing.
different. Yeah, yeah.
It fits so different.
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
it was athlete. So if you want to sponsor
Oh.
me,
Shout out to Athlete.
yeah. But yeah, I remember that shirt because the first picture that I sent you, I wasn't aware to the gym, and I saw my back, and I was like, "There's no way I'm gonna wear this."
Yeah.
Like, absolutely no way. So I took it off. Like my rolls were like highlighted, you know, and then a
Your
couple
rolls
months
have
after,
rolls.
yeah, they were rolling for sure.
I make a dad joke, and then y'all yell at me. She makes one, and it's nothing.
We can laugh at it now.
Wow.
But then maybe not. But
Yeah, no, it was sad. It was like a sad realization. I was like, I had to take off this shirt because I was like, I didn't like how it looked, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then a couple months after I wore it again, I was like, I'm going to see how this fits now. And then I saw, and then my whole back was like
Smooth.
smooth.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit.
Let's go back to macros. So
Mm-hmm.
you were on a meal plan up until we're finished the cut.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when I switched to the meal to macros, you were super, super nervous. And this was
Yeah.
like just a couple of weeks ago,
Yeah, like
right?
2-3 weeks.
2-3 weeks
Yeah.
ago. So it's nothing. So it's just recent.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Colton. Same thing with a lot of us too. A lot of our clients are listening to this right now, and they're on macros. Almost every single one of them failed the first 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So don't be hard on yourself because it's hard. It's
It's
a
just
little
another
bit more-
learning.
Yeah,
curve.
it's
That's
just
it.
another
Yeah.
learning curve. But you kind of starting to notice how much food you really actually eat, and what the fats, what the carbs are, what the protein. So you're learning so much. And one of my favorite things to do is when I transition my clients from meal plan to macros, they starting to learn even more because now they're being proactive. They look at the labels every time they eat something, right?
Same
when
thing,
you go to the
like,
grocery
6
store,
of these little donuts is 30 grams of fat. Like,
exactly,
nope.
exactly. So, or like a huge 12-ounce ribeye for 90 grams of fat in one sitting. Just the steak, not including the butter that they put on, and
Yep. The mashed
whatever
potatoes you
sides.
got with it, the sides, yeah,
or
like anything
fries.
like that,
I
yep.
love steak and fries.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? That's
Yep.
that's probably one of my best go-to cheat meal for sure. But I only do that once in a while because I know,
Yeah.
like the fats. My body can't do fats as much.
Yeah.
I can do a lot of carbs, but fats can't.
I can do it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do it all.
Yes.
Can eat it
So
all.
Whether she feels like shit afterward or not, she can do it all. Yeah.
I'll make room for dessert.
And so now you just started with macros. Where are you at now in terms of like how well can you track your macros?
I think pretty good. I mean, I feel like there's more days that I undereat than overeat because I'm scared I'm gonna overeat.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm scared I'm gonna get big again. I think that's kind of like my mindset where I have to like improve now. Of like, it's okay
Yes.
if I see my scale go up higher because you know, like I hate weighing myself.
Yep.
I
She hates
hate
it.
it.
Yeah.
she fights me on it every week.
That's majority of our
Yeah.
clients.
It's majority of
Yeah.
our client, but
Which,
she-
and we get it, right?
Yeah.
Because it's hard to see that when we put such value into that number. But I mean, we tell you all it's just a number.
Yeah.
And while it's hard for you, that's just data for us because then we take that data and that helps us to make a decision on what we need to do.
And the cool thing
So-
about that too is you started with me at 167 pounds. I think.
170 basically.
Okay, 170. And then what was your lowest?
My lowest. Well, today my lowest 142.
142.
142.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
142, and then I think if I remember correctly, your body fat when you first started was 32, 34%.
40 at this point. It felt 40.
It felt like it was 40, and I think
Keep
we
rounding up
finished
these numbers. What
I
do
Yeah,
you
know.
because
do?
that's how big I felt. That's how cute.
and then we've measured when you came in. I think you were sitting at like around 21.
Wow.
Body fat. Yeah.
Damn, that's good.
Over 10 pound, and she
good.
didn't lose a lot of weight. You know what I mean? It was 24 pounds if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Because I remember I just posted your transformation, so I remember
Yeah.
those details.
Yeah, because it wasn't a lot. Like when people
No.
say like, "Oh, how much have you lost?" I'm like, "Oh, like I think it was like 24 or whatever."
Yeah.
And so it's not like a lot.
But it looks like you
It
It's
looks
a
like
lot.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because people are so focused on losing the weight, but not gaining the muscle.
Yeah.
Because everyone thinks, we get all the time, especially the women, like, I just don't want to look bulky. I don't want to look like a man. It's like, okay, first of all, unless you're going to get on some stuff, you're not going to look like a guy.
Yeah.
But you carrying your daughter, even when she was little, you're still carrying a lot of weight. You're still, the groceries, the diaper bag, the whatever, the case is. But people, again, we're so focused on losing but not gaining. And I know you've added muscle mass, while losing. It's very obvious. So yeah, I mean, you still lost 24, 25 pounds. That's a significant amount. But what have you put on positively that's good?
Yeah. No, I hope, I mean, a lot of muscle for sure. And mass.
So now that you know macros, I know you're still learning. And the one thing I want to coach is this, right? Now we have to start embedding that all the other foods that you want to try. And again, remember what we talked about. There's no such thing as bad food, but there is such thing as good, better choices of food. And then we talked about, okay, we want to make sure 80% of your meals are whole foods, 20% processed.
Yeah.
If you keep it that way, you'll be fine. But what I don't want you to do is I don't want you to think of something like what you said earlier where, I'm going to eat this. Man, how much cardio do I need to do the next day? Don't do that. Because you're just
undereat because you're too afraid to go back to where you
were.
Your body can handle it now.
Yeah.
It's like a negative mindset to have, or?
Well, it's not necessarily negative. It's just you're building more, I guess, of like a, for lack of a better term, negative relationship with the food. So then when you do want to go have, so like let's say that that's your thought with having pizza. And then you decide one night, okay, I'm gonna give in. Let's have the pizza. Yeah. You have fun, you relax, and the next day you decide
to do an hour.
I think I need to weigh myself, and then you do. Obviously, because you had pizza, extra fat, extra carbs, extra sodium, you might be a little bit bloated. That's totally, and that's normal. But then what happens to a lot of people is they see that number on the scale go up, and they're like, shit, I got to do an extra 30 minutes of cardio. So instead of doing 30 minutes, I'm going to do an hour because I've got to burn that pizza off. It's like that's just going to make it worse. Because now every time you go back to have that pizza, that guilt's going to come back, that fear of, well, shit, what if the scale went up? Now I got to do extra cardio if I have this, but how much extra am I going to do? It's just eat the damn pizza and then just relax.
And move on with your life.
Yeah, move on.
You gotta let that stuff go.
Yeah. Move on.
And I think that's where I'm kind of
bloated,
where I'm at. Because I'm scared. Like, I'm scared to get back to where I was and fall into bad habits.
The only way that will happen is if instead of eating 1 or 2 slices of pizza, you eat the whole goddamn box.
And then you have another cheat meal the next day.
Yeah. And then another cheat meal the next day, and then another one. Because now with more muscle mass, you can burn more calories, so your body requires a higher amount of food. So before, yes, if you're eating those foods, you're more susceptible to gaining the fat. Now that you've lost so much and you have that muscle tissue to support it, you might bloat a little bit because, again, extra sodium, if you don't have that much water, your face might be a little bit puffy, or your abdomen might be. So all you need to do is just get up, drink your water, and just do what you normally do. And then that bloat's going to come back off. Or what happens to a lot of people is they eat that food and they get so worried about it, but then they wake up the next day and they've actually lost weight.
I've woken up leaner after eating a whole pizza before.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing tonight. Just
No, but
So instead it's a picture of a whole pizza.
So
like,
really,
it's going
though,
down.
Like I've done that before. Even I'd say recently, like I think a couple weeks ago, there was just one day, you're feeling stressed. I hadn't had a cheat meal in a while, and I was like, dude, I just need a pizza. Yeah. So I ordered myself a large Papa John's pizza.
I was going to say Pizza Hut.
No. And
Yeah, it's a shirt.
And I
Shout out Pizza Hut.
Yeah, and I ordered, and I ate the whole thing. And it's like, you just can't feel guilty. Like I woke up the next day, gym like I do, water like I do, diet like I do. You just get back on track.
Yeah.
Let me tell you guys a secret, right? Especially for all the listeners listening to this right now, whether you're on Spotify, YouTube, or the Reels, or maybe it's you. If let's say you eat 52 meals throughout the week, or whatever, how many meals you eat throughout the week, one cheat meal will not get you to the point where it's a negative effect on your body. What that means is like you eat so clean 7 days out of the week. That one meal, that one cheat meal will not affect your results.
But under eating will. So you worrying about not eating the food, it works either way. If you binge, not good. If you under eat, not good.
Yeah.
Like,
or if you eat Monday through Friday, and then the weekends
is binging.
You binge, or you go eat, other shit. It's like, well, calories don't shut off Saturday, Sunday. They don't take time off.
People really think that.
Yeah.
People
think, well, I did good Monday through Friday, so I'm going to do it. It's like, well, no.
Yeah.
Like, yes, if you want to wake up Saturday morning and go out to breakfast, that's great. But then don't, after breakfast, go home and DoorDash Chick-fil-A.
Yep.
Yeah, or have a cheat day.
Or have a whole
back
cheat
on
day.
track.
Yeah,
Right?
it's not a cheat day; it's a cheat meal. So it's even at the stage you're in right now. I know our your calories is kind of lower right now. We're about to increase it soon. Once we increase it, once we get to the maintenance and you're not hungry anymore, I'll be like, hey, go have a cheat meal once every 2 weeks, and then we're gonna move into once a week. You'll be fine.
Ooh.
Because sometimes we have to force our clients to have a cheat meal because we want them to be like, hey, it's okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's fine. You don't do extra cardio tomorrow. Don't go to the gym tomorrow. Relax, get your meals ready, and then you move on.
But sometimes what happens is our body almost goes through like a metabolic adaptation where it gets used to a certain caloric range, or, you know, whether it's low or, you know, if it is your true maintenance level. So when we incorporate that cheat meal, it tells the body, here's extra food. Your body's able to process it. It's like, oh, so we're good. And then you're going to wake up the next day and be like, dude, I'm hungry today. Yeah. Like I just had pizza last night, or, you know, burgers or whatever it was. I'm starving. It's because your body was able to handle it. So, and, you know, worst case scenario, yeah, you wake up bloated, right? But what's going to happen is he's incorporating more of these cheat meals and, you know, in a higher frequency, you're going to be able to now incorporate that into your macros.
It won't bloat you anymore.
So now you're going to see, you're like, oh, well, shit, I can go have this stuff. It still fits within my macros and I feel good. And now you know, well, if I eat this, I know how to manipulate it. So I'm going to be right where I need to. You don't have to have that fear of, shit, if I eat this, I can't have my last snack before I go to bed because that's going to put me over. You're going to know how to put it in, and then this fear you have is going to go away. Yeah. But it's a new thing that you're trying to learn. Just wait. I'm sure you have the same fear starting out on the meal plan he gave you.
Yeah, because I think when we transitioned to macros, I think I even text you. I was like, I feel like you just let me into the wild. Like, yeah. I feel like I have so many like options.
Yeah, I remember you texting me that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I was like, this is like scary, but I feel like it's like a new learning curve.
Yeah, but again, you wouldn't be able to do that if you weren't disciplined on your meal plan. Yeah, if you weren't, I will not give you macros, because if you can't follow meal plan, you're not going to follow macros.
Well, we know you built the discipline because of the conversation we're having right now of you have a little bit of a fear of overeating. Yeah, but yeah, I promise you, your body's going to be able to handle it.
But the other thing too is that was, you know, you're like, oh, I'm afraid I'm going to be big again. That was years and years of cheat meals every day for months on end and weeks, like having one.
Yeah. But I think it's just like,
let yourself let it go, let it slide.
Let's move on to the emotional part of this journey, if you have any.
Okay.
So since you first started,
where's the tissues?
Yeah. So in case anyone's wondering, this pillow is in every video. It's the emotional support pillow.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It
So
is.
you start gripping that thing, because
you see my nail claws on.
So your emotional journey, right? Because everyone have one. Myself, Nick, all of our clients have one. So what does that look like? What was one or two emotional part of this journey? What was the hardest part that you had to get through, and what was it?
I think the biggest, with the breakup, I think that was like my biggest emotional thing, was like the breakup and learning to be dependent on myself and finding that, like, loving myself. Yeah. You know, I think that was like my biggest emotional struggle. Would that be one?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, well,
yeah. Because
there's no right or wrong answer.
Yeah,
we can't tell you if it is.
Like, is that considered one? But yeah, I think that was for sure my emotional one, because I was so dependent on the person and their journey and like their life, really, that when that person left my life, I didn't know how to gym by myself. Yeah. Like, I was so scared gymming by myself because I would always gym with that person, you know? So when I was with Yo the first time and when we broke up, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this by myself. I don't know how I'm going to like finish this, because I'm like, I just can't gym by myself. I can't really do anything by myself without having somebody, you know? So it was like, I guess it's kind of sad to say that I was so reliant.
Codependent.
Yeah. And so I think that made me to the person I am today, as in like I learned how to be by myself, how to be okay, how to be, you know, walk in the gym by myself, confident. You know,
you've learned to put yourself first. Yeah, and not in a selfish way. Well, I guess actually in a selfish way.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You kind of have to.
Yeah, you have to
be.
You kind of have to.
You have to be selfish, but it's how you are selfish, right? Because a lot of people will do this and like, I can't do that, and they get really aggressive with it. But you're to the point now, you're like, I have to go to the gym. You're questioning going on dates with certain people. Yeah. You're viewing who you're going to bring into your life with different set of values, where before, I'm sure the way you're looking at dating now was not the same.
Yeah, no. Right? Like if they, like I said, like if they didn't gym, I didn't gym. If they want to have a cheat meal, I had a cheat meal, you know? And now it's just kind of like, like now I'm going to follow my plan. Like if I need to eat before I even go out to this place, like I'm going to eat my meals first or whatever, you know? But yeah, there's definitely like that guilt. Like I get mom guilt a lot when I gym earlier, because I gym at night, but I've been slowly starting to like gym earlier, but that does take a time away from my daughter, you know? So I do get that mom guilt, but it's also a reminder that I'm my own individual. I have my own goals as well, and
Your daughter don't know this yet, but she will appreciate the fact that you work on yourself for 1 hour a day.
Yeah. But where she sees you eating the eggs and she's like, Mom, will you put grass in my eggs? As she gets older, she's going to come to you like, can I go to the gym with you?
Yeah.
Right. And then now you have your gym buddy again. Because that's how I got into the gym, was with my dad. He was there. I remember as a kid, he would always come home from the gym, and then we'd have dinner and he'd help, get us ready for bed and all that. And then when I was finally able to go, I remember asking him if I could go with him. And that was just another way I got to bond with my dad. So as she gets older, she's going to see you going to the gym. She's like, Mom, I want to go. Okay, well, let's go. And now you have even more in common with your daughter. You get another thing that you get to spend time with her on. And it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, because I feel like I was very insecure, even as a mom, because I'm like, oh, I don't feel like that mom. Like I'm.
Yeah.
Just
where are you at now?
Where I'm at, I'm that mom. Like that's like I want people to tell Ava oh, is that your mom? Like, yeah, that's my mom.
She's a badass, dude.
Yeah,
and so, you are.
Yeah. And single on. Just
oh man, this is good. So one last question before we wrap it up.
Okay.
What is your advice for all the single moms out there, or anyone that had a similar situation as you did? What is your advice to them?
My advice would be that they are enough to work on themselves, because a lot of the times I felt that I wasn't worthy enough to be where I am at. I felt like I wasn't deserving of this opportunity and of this transformation. But yeah, you are enough to accomplish what you want to be, and you are destined so much more than just who you are now. If you're feeling stuck and unhappy and depressed or whatever, it's this is not who you are meant to be.
This is not the end.
Yeah, this is definitely not the end. So just keep pushing, because it's definitely not easy. It's not easy waking up and working out, eating healthy. It's really not easy. And I struggle with my water intake, my sleep. Those are my biggest top two things that I struggle.
The biggest conversation we have every single week: sleep and water. I'm like, Kim.
Well, I mean, if all this was easy, we wouldn't have a job.
Yeah. So everybody's journey is so different and so special that even though I went through a whole breakup, I went through learning how to love myself, it was still, I wouldn't change it for the world, because it's who I am now. It kept me here. I met you guys, so it's all meant to be.
Exactly.
If you can go back to that person that was the lowest part of your life, whether that's during the breakup or before that, what would you say to her?
Wow. I would tell her, well, first of all, I would hug her. I would hug her, because I remember feeling so, and when I met you, that wasn't my lowest. I think my lowest was with my daughter's dad.
Yeah.
I felt, so yeah, I would hug her for sure, and then tell her that she is loved, and that she is important, and that everything is going to be okay, even though it sounds super cliche to say it, but
it's a fact.
Yeah, everything is going to be okay, and that everything is all temporary. This is a temporary feeling, a temporary situation, and things are going to be better.
I love that.
Yep. Well, and like we talked about really quick, we tell all of our clients, I remember when he told me, post on social media, because you have a silent following. Whether they reach out to you or not, people are watching.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I was like, no one cares about my journey. But he posted that one video of you earlier in the year, and you're still getting messages about it now. So now, talking about your journey, when you start posting about this, you do it for yourself, but to show those single moms who are in your position from before, look where I am now. Yeah. It's not people see the before and after and oh my God, it was so easy for Kim to do that. Why is it hard for me? Hell no, it wasn't easy. They don't see the behind the scenes. So that's why we talk about it, so you can tell them, you're going to go through some shit. Keep going.
Yeah.
Because me not giving up when I went through the breakup, when I had those rough times, this is where I'm at now. If I can do it, you can do it. Yeah. And be that support for them. They'll be that open door for them to message you and you can help them through their journey. Be the person that you wish you would have had back then. Be your older sister.
You can
that's so
be
beautiful.
you can be that person now.
Yep.
Because you're at the top of your game in terms of your health journey, right? And who you are today. And that's why we do what we do today.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm not just here to coach these guys to be the best self. And I always tell them, if you are able to coach someone else and teach someone else to live a better lifestyle, why not do it? You know what I mean? You are our walking business cards.
Yes.
I'm my own walking business card, right? I don't, if I tell you to eat healthy and I'm not, why would I do that? You know what I mean? I'm not the coach that I need to be.
Yep.
You know,
Practice what you preach.
Practice what you preach. Kim, thank you for being on. This has been a pleasure for Kim to be on. I mean, like I said, I love hearing your story, and I didn't know a lot about you beforehand. So, which is why I love to have our clients.
It helps us to get to know you better once we hear more about this stuff.
Anything else?
I really do appreciate you guys, because you guys, I met you guys unexpectedly, and I think you guys are a huge part of like my transformation, and I really appreciate you guys of like guiding me and like having tough conversations and seeing me cry and building me back up. And so I owe it a lot to you guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is it.
What a way to end.
Way to end the episode number 25. Kim, thank you for being on. Coach Nick, thank you. Colton, appreciate you. And until next time, we'll see you later.